incredible ladies that are here with me today. And, I could ask the question like, hey, what does a typical day for you look like? And I wish there was a simple answer to this because every day doesn't look the same. Every day looks completely different. And then like next month, every day could look completely different too. But what I've done today is I've grabbed some tutors that can share, some are beginning, some are in the middle of getting more students and some of us are completely booked solid. So you're going to get a really good idea of like, what does our day particularly look like for an online tutor. So I'm glad that you guys are able to join us today and be able to share your experiences because, what it looks like for one person, it doesn't look like for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. So it's absolutely crazy. We've got Angela here. Now, Angela actually teaches a lot of different things. So I'm going to bring Angela on in. Hey, Angela.
Hey. How are you?
Good. We were just kind of chatting before because we were like, gosh, we see each other all the time in the Ultimate Support Group, but this is actually the first time we've gotten to meet each other. So it's excellent getting to meet you, Angela.
Nice to meet you too.
So Angela, tell us, like, what does your, if you had a typical day, what does your typical day look like?
So every day is different in my schedule. Kind of like you said, there isn't necessarily like a typical day. My Mondays and my Wednesdays are close together. So I'll talk about the schedule on those days. So I do online tutoring as well as in-person tutoring. Mm-hmm. So Monday and Wednesdays are a little bit more in-person heavy. But on Mondays, I usually wake up really early. I'm usually up at 4:30, so I can be to the gym by 5:30. Like I need to leave for the gym around like 5. Be at the gym by 5:30. Just because I like to take classes at the gym, and that's when my gym offers classes that early, like at like 9, and then I'm working, so I can't do like the 9 o'clock ones.
Right.
So I get up, leave for the gym. And then usually after the gym, I have like a couple hours of time between that and my next client. So I usually go to Starbucks close to where my next client is. And I work on my blog to like promote tutoring and just work outside. Like, so promote my business, but also to just give people education tips and stuff like that. So I usually work on my blog until about 8:50. Then I head out to my first student. So this student I actually have for 12 hours every week. It's a homeschooling student. So he works with K-12 online. So I see like his teacher's perspective of having them online and seeing from the student's perspective, like things that he has to do. And Blackboard, which is used for K-12, isn't exactly that user-friendly. So fun stuff there. It's not user-friendly for the teachers or the students. So the students have to kind of learn a lot and how to be respectful in that. But I'm with him from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Oh, wow.
So I'm with him for 4 hours every time I'm with him, and I'm with him 3 days a week.
Wow.
So I'm with him Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Normally, this week he's on vacation, so this week I had him Monday and Friday. So once again, things change week to week. But after I'm done with him, I have about an hour, which I use to drive home and grab lunch. And then I have an online student. I'm tutoring her in the ISEE right now. Okay. It's a standardized test to get into private schools. So she is in middle school. So she's doing the middle level ISEE test. So I do math and reading with her. Her math is a little bit lower, so I work more on middle school math with her. So then I have her for an hour of online tutoring. And then I have a student that's actually in my youth group because I'm a youth leader as well in a youth group. So I have a student that's in my youth group that I tutor. So I pop over to the library, which I live like 5 minutes away from.
Oh, nice.
Love the library. There every single day. So I pop over to the library and I tutor him for 2 hours from 3:30 to 5:30. And I have all these students on Wednesday also. So I have like my homeschooling, then the online student, and then the student on Wednesday as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then after him on Monday, I have another student that I have at the library just right after, who is a third grader. And I've been tutoring him for the last 3 years.
Oh.
So I've been with him for the last 3 years. The homeschooling student I've been with for the last 2 years. The high school student that's in my youth group, I've been with him for 2 years now also. So then I tutor him. He's a third grader, so I tutor him in math and English for third grade. And then that's basically my Monday. On Wednesdays, I basically do the same thing, but I don't have the third grade student afterwards. And then I have church after that. So then I have church for like 3 hours on Wednesday. So those are like more my typical days. But every day, and I work every day out of the week. I have some type of job every day of the week. There's like my lowest day, I think I only have like an hour and a half, but I do work every single day. On Sunday,
this is your full-time job.
Yeah. So I have about 11 clients. I have 11 clients, but with those 11 clients, I have about 30 to 35 hours a week. Because so I have clients come and go. Sometimes I have kind of my solids, but then I have others that pop in and out. I do standardized tests. So sometimes it's like, oh, I prepared you for the standardized test. You took the test, you got the grade you wanted. Now you're done.
Right.
So I will have standardized test students coming and going. So.
Yeah. That's cool. Like, so you get to work with a large array of students. Now I'm curious, what is the topic of your blog that you have to try to be able to like promote and get the word out there about your business?
So my blog is called The Truthful Tutor. The Truthful Tutor, so it's just thetruthfultutor.com. And I talk about educational resources and how to use different things in your classroom or in homeschooling for like parents and educators. I literally do all different levels in my blog. So I do from preschool through high school, those aspects. So I talk about educational products. I talk about different teaching methods like to use for your classroom, different organizational skills for a classroom or teaching kids. Like my latest thing was on like mental health and how to teach kids how to have good mental health and stuff like that. So I do kind of try to break it down into categories. So there's like material by grade level. Where it's organized where it's like, this is the preschool stuff, this is the elementary school stuff, this is the middle school, this is the high school. But yeah, since I teach across the board, I do things for all different levels. So
yeah, and that's a great way to kind of approach it, that you have a blog that would be useful for anybody to kind of pass along to anybody. And has it been effective with you being able to get some new clients?
It has, in that like people from my church have like read it, and so then they've been asking me about like tutoring or like how much do you charge and stuff like that. So it's like not like necessarily like outside people, but like the people who like I knew that didn't necessarily know that this is what I do, like started like asking about it more and stuff when they started like seeing like my blog or my social medias promoting it as well. So
there's a lot of value to that too, because now those people already have a lot of trust. They already know you, they already like you, they already trust you. So, the fact that it is really being effective with them is absolutely huge, because now they, like you said, they can learn more about you, what it is that you do. And then they're like, oh, I have a child who's struggling with this. I wonder if she could help me with that. And then they can approach you and do that. So if nobody likes to sit there all day long and like talk about themselves, right? It would be awkward to go to church and be like, hello, everybody. So I'm an online tutor and I tutor, English and math. And like, you know anybody? Like that would be weird, right? But through your blog, you're able to share that information. And then you're able to, they're getting in contact with that information and learning more about you without it feeling like a weird situation. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing like what your typical day looks like and all of that. So I appreciate that. We're going to move right on over to one of our newer tutors. We've got Ashley Dimercurio. Woo!
Hello.
Oh my gosh, Ashley. When I saw the results that you were getting with your little student, I was like, I think like my whole entire like heart like jumped out of my body with excitement because I was just like, this is so cool because Ashley just finished the reading interventionist program, and that's where I teach people how to close the reading gap a full year with 8 to 12 hours of instruction. And Ashley had her first student. Tell us about those results real quick before we move into what your typical day looks like.
Sure.
What happened for that student?
Yeah, it was amazing. I started working with him in the beginning of the summer, and so I met with him once a week for just an hour, and he was reading, like I want to say maybe around a first grade level when we started, and he was going into fourth grade. So significant reading issues, especially struggled with fluency, and he definitely had some gaps in his phonics as well. So I followed the programming that we were learning with you. So it actually worked really well for me because I was doing the reading interventionist program while I was tutoring with him. And so he was getting this really authentic experience because I was learning these and I was honestly learning from the best. And I was able to ask questions specifically about him and then apply like to our next lesson. Okay, he needs work on fluency. We're studying fluency. Like now I'm going to apply Joanne's technique and just watch him just take off. And I just met with him this week, and I was looking back at his reading fluency. And when we first started, he was reading between 35 and 45 words per minute on his first read.
Yeah.
And last night on his first read, he read 106 words per minute.
So,
mind blowing. It was amazing. And now we're working on grade level texts with him. And I even pulled up, I had recorded one of our early sessions and I pulled it up to play for him and his mom. And it was just amazing for them to really see and hear his reading and how he had really been reading very monotone and you could tell he was not confident in his reading ability. He was very quiet and there was no expression, and his pace was fairly slow versus now where he reads with expression and you can hear him clearly. And even his mom will say, he's so much more confident now. And so that just makes it all better.
Yes, awesome. And we've got Dana and Sonia in the house. Woo woo! So glad to have you guys. Dana just said, "Hey Ashley, yay Ashley," and she said, "Wow."
Yeah, it was impressive. He really worked hard, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So now your situation's a little bit different. So you've got two little ones. One's in school, one's not in school, and you're starting this business. Mm-hmm. Tell us about what a typical day looks like for you.
Yeah. And actually, I should add, I don't know if you have followed along with this, but my school age child, my son, actually, we just started homeschooling him. So yeah. So I'm homeschooling my 6-year-old and I have an almost 3-year-old and I'm launching my business and I do a lot of things. I'm a busy lady. So every day is definitely different for me too. But this business has really been great because I kind of started learning about online tutoring through a company that I started working for about a year ago. And that really helped me to realize that this was like a thing now. Like people were doing this. Like I could teach online. Like this is really happening. So I started researching it. And that's when I decided to sort of branch out and start my own business. But I still am working for that company because I have some students I really am attached to. And it helps balance out the income stream as I'm building. And so I start my day I usually start teaching for them around 6:30. So those students are in China. So there's a huge time change. So I start teaching at 6:30 and I teach for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, like 5 days a week. I've been doing that. And while I'm teaching for them, my husband is taking care of breakfast and getting the kids dressed. Yeah, so that works out good because I can be downstairs right in my house and they're up there, you know, getting ready for the day. And then when I go upstairs, he leaves for work and I sort of take over the mom duty. And sometimes that means 3 days a week, I take my daughter to preschool. So we pile in the car and we take her to preschool. And when I get home, I have she's there for 3.5 hours or so. And I have my son with me now, but I actually have a homeschooling student that I'm tutoring online in reading. So I'll get him set up down here in our office area with an activity or whatever he wants, you know, that changes every day. And then I will tutor the student with him here with me. And then when that's done, I homeschool him for like an hour and a half. And then we go get Celia at preschool. You know, we come back home and then it's the afternoon times are usually with kids. I have one afternoon session. Once a week, I have a student in the afternoon and I hired a babysitter. She's a high school student. She gets off the bus at my house. And yeah, that has worked out really great. So she comes once a week and she watches the kids and then I do my afternoon session. And then in the evenings, we have a lot of extracurricular stuff still. My son does soccer and jujitsu. And so I'm not able to take on a lot of evening times really, because that's still, you know, my primary job really is being their mom and raising them. Yeah. So I always say that I work in the cracks of motherhood. Like I fit in the sessions, like where like all throughout my day. And sometimes it is hard. I was telling my husband to like work a little bit and then go back to being mom and then work a little bit and then go back to being a mom. Like it's a lot of transition.
Yeah.
Which it is hard some days. It is like, I wish sometimes I had bigger chunks, but Joanne, you're always telling me like, it'll be here soon enough. You know, it'll come, they're going to get older before you know it and enjoy this time. And so that's why I'm still sort of keeping the company I work for is keeping those clients because it does allow me to not have to take on as many, but I am sort of replacing it at the same time. Like one of the clients I brought on recently is I was able to just do that one session in the morning with a private tutoring client and get rid of a day with the company. And that was a huge win for me because
because you said, look, I'm going to be making $30 in a half an hour working with this one client. And for 1 hour, you were getting paid what from the other company?
I would have to work an hour and a half to make $30 with the other company. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's like time management 101, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that's definitely the goal. And that is what I'm working towards. And you mentioned, I was watching one of your videos today about how you worked with a student in California. That was like in the morning before they went to school because of time. And I was like, that's brilliant. Like I need some of those clients. So definitely if you're watching and you live in California and you need a reading tutor. No. Yeah. So, and then I do have one evening student once a week. I do a 6 to 7 and that's my home. My husband is home at that point. So he's like getting the kids ready for bed and doing all of that stuff. And while I'm tutoring and then I go up and finish helping with bedtime. And then I'm doing a lot of like my admin tasks and working the marketing and, you know, that sort of stuff at night right now after my kids are in bed, or on the weekends, I might have my husband take over for an hour and I'll come and do that. Or like today, I'm really lucky. My mother-in-law is here doing projects with my kids so that I can get on this call and have some time to work. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So if you have little ones at home and you're like, how in the world can I organize this? Watch this over and over again and just see like how like Ashley just did it. Because that's really cool because you can work in the cracks of motherhood. It's a little disruptive. I found like for me, like I really like working back to back to back with my students because of being a mom of 3 girls. It was like, I felt like, okay, I have to work here. And then they needed me up there. So when they needed me up there, you know, I'm taking care of their needs in between sessions. And then all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, shoot, I totally forgot about that next student.
Yeah. It can be a little tricky. And it is like, I definitely use like a planner, you know, and I like highlight the color code the kids and what's business stuff and where do I have to be when. And plus I have my phone with reminders set for all my students and
my watch.
Yeah.
For those of you who want an iWatch, if you want one of these are like awesome for online tutoring.
Yes, I would imagine that's definitely on my wish list for sure. So, I mean, I think right now I have 5 private tutoring clients. My goal is 10, you know, in my first year of teaching. So I've only been doing my private business for, what was I just saying, about 6 months, almost 6 months. So halfway there. So that feels good to me. But I also know, that, I think I was watching one of your videos about work-life balance and how many students is fully booked. So like in a way, like I am fully booked right now because I have one morning student. I have that daytime slot. I only have that daytime slot available because especially now that I'm homeschooling, like I could maybe take on one more student on Friday mornings, but I homeschool Michael during that time. And then I have one evening slot that's booked and one weekend slot that's booked, like they're booked. So it would be a lot. At this point, I would have to probably hire like a nanny to take on an additional student. So I have raised my rates to reflect that kind of supply and demand and getting my certification. And because at this point, in order for me to continue growing my business, I need to earn enough to pay a babysitter, to pay a nanny. So
for sure. And those are just some of the pieces that need to happen, right? In order to have that. And actually, I'm going to be doing another video all on how do you figure out your hourly rate. That's going to be coming out on Monday. So you guys look out for that because it's mistake number 14 of the 29 mistake series is that people think that people don't want to pay what you're worth. And that's not true at all, right? That's right. People are going to pay what you're worth if you let them know what they're going to get in return. So I talk about what do you have to take into consideration for what you charge? Because there are some really important factors there to take into consideration. Like you said, if you've got to hire a nanny to be able to get somebody, you got to still make a profit, right?
Right. And it certainly is different for different people depending on where you live and if you have kids or don't have kids. And, I think whether or not like that you use online resources or subscriptions for your students, like you have to factor all of that in. And I think when I first started my business, I was not aware of all that. It definitely was a mistake. It was a mistake I made. I undercharged in the beginning, but we all do. Like that's like a total thing that everybody does. So if you feel like you are not charging enough for your services, don't feel bad because you're all going to get a raise and everybody feels good when they get a raise, right? That's right. Yeah.
So it's all good. If you're okay working for $20 or $30 an hour, you're going to get at least $30 to $40 an hour. We're going to bump that up. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for sharing about like what your typical day is. Don't go anywhere because we got some more questions for you and Angela as time goes on. We're going to bring on Miss Terry Grigsby, who is now officially book solid, but she doesn't really want to say that because she wants to add a couple more for a buffer so that she can add, she can save up for those times.
Like you have to factor all of that in. And I think when I first started my business,
something happened.
Was not aware of all that. It definitely was a mistake.
Did I touch something on my computer?
I undercharged at the beginning, but
there is feedback going on here.
Don't if you feel like you are not charging enough for
let's see.
Bad, because you're all going to get a raise.
We are just going to.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's see what's going on here. Is it on my computer? This is like live broadcast gone wrong.
That's the recording because that's what Ashley said.
We got some more questions for you.
Let's
Angela,
turn
as time goes on.
This off.
On Miss Terry.
See if this happens. My computer is speaking, or somebody's computer is speaking. We can't figure it out, guys.
More for a buffer so that she can add. She can save up for those times.
All right, what is happening?
I think when I first started my business,
something happened.
Was not aware of all that. It definitely was a mistake.
Did I touch something in my computer?
All right, we're trying to close everything down at this point, guys. All right, I think I did it.
I think you did it.
I think I found whatever it was doing for talking. Oy vey. Okay, well, we're going to come right on back to Miss Terry Grigsby here. I found the button that just started talking on my computer, and we are now able to turn that off, which is awesome. So, like I was saying, Terry is now thinking forward because our business does ebb and flow. And so that's something to think about. If you have less students at one time of year, it doesn't mean you're always going to have less students. It just means that you have to pick up the pace with your marketing and be able to try to get those students. So to prepare for those times, Terry is thinking, okay, maybe I'll take on a few more students to kind of prepare for that, but she is at her book solid, which is fantastic. So Terry, tell us about what your typical day looks like.
So first of all, I have to say, Angela, it's nice meeting you. I follow you on Instagram because I love you.
Thank you.
And Ashley, I want to know what color you book for sleep on your calendar.
What sleep?
All right. So I'm different. I don't have kids. I'm just doing this, but I have to make my own money. This is my living. So I started about a year ago, and I knew at the beginning I wanted to be online. So I was pushing for online all the time. So now I'm in kind of a regular routine. One of the things I do, and Joanne, you're going to like this, is on my calendar, I book out all the Joanne meetings of the week. So I don't schedule then, because even though I'm a year ahead right now, I still, every time I go to one of those, I learn something that I can use, and I write it down, and then I go research it and put it into place. And I know that's why I've gotten as far as I have gotten already. So I live in Oregon, so that's 9:30 to 10:30 Monday. Well, I guess it's going to be Monday through Thursday now, right? So yeah, so I plan on that Monday through Thursday, and I don't book then. So when I first get ready, I get up like about 9 o'clock. I know that sounds late, but I go to bed late. So I get up about 9, and the very first thing I do is I write one of these notes, which you probably can't see. This is my dream big note, and I write it out every day. I have 30 students a week. I'm producing a video a week. I'm writing a book on math anxiety. I'm learning every day and growing my business. And I write that out every day, and it sounds ridiculous, except it's worked before. So
that's awesome.
And it used to be. And then the other thing I do every day when I first get started is another poster that says 5 actions to get clients directly today. And it just reminds me I'm going to take 5 actions, and I won't go to bed at night without having taken 5 direct actions. So that doesn't mean like producing a video. That means like, have I contacted a school and asking if they need a tutor? Or, you know, spreading the word on Facebook or whatever that is. So that gets done first. Then me and Joanne, we meet each other. She's like, I'm sick of her. But, I do that. And then about 10:30 till about 1 o'clock is my free time. And I try to get all my errands done during that time. So that means like grocery shopping or cleaning, or if I have doctor's appointments or whatever, that happens then. And then I start getting students at about 1 o'clock because I teach kids all across the country. So I start with my East Coast kids at about 1 because they're done with school by then. And then so they come first. My East Coast comes first. And I kind of work my way across the country. And then from about 4 o'clock till 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I usually have my local kids.
Okay.
But everybody's online.
Nice.
So I'm pretty much working solidly from about 1 or 2 until 8 or 9 every night.
Well
and that used to be only Monday through Thursday, but because I have more students now, it's Monday through Friday now.
Excellent.
So that's great.
Yeah.
You know,
That is
when
really
you think about it, that's not really that many hours you're working.
No.
Compared to when I was a teacher in a classroom, I was working all day and then working all night to correct stuff and plan stuff.
Right.
So it's so much less work.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And plus, because I have 30 years teaching experience, I honestly, I don't need to prep for my tutoring. I can just kind of go in cold, knowing where I kind of want to head, you know, with the kids.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much my day. And when I get done tutoring, usually I'll go downstairs and do something to de-stress. For me, Joanne knows that's crocheting. If it's not hot out, I won't crochet when it's hot, or something, or watch TV or watch a movie or something to, you know, take my dog for a walk or whatever. So that's pretty much my days.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. You ladies are truly amazing. I am so blessed to know amazing people like you. And I think, okay, now I'm trying to like make sure I didn't unmute people. I just muted Ashley on accident. Now I'm trying to unmute her. This is what happens when you're trying to do way too many things at once. Okay, we can't undo it.
Oh.
I got it.
You got it. All right. Phew. All right. Yeah, I really need to hire somebody to be like my extra hand here.
I got you. No worries.
On all your camera and stuff.
Oh, yeah, they could hold my camera for me. So many jobs I could have for them. It is absolutely incredible. Like this business just adds so much freedom. And so, you know, I feel like, you get to take on whatever it is that you want to take on, right? You get to take on how many students you want to take on. I had somebody ask me, is online tutoring a full-time job? Like, will I be able to get 40 hours a week doing this? And I said, well, that depends on how much work you put into it, A. But B, you have to think about the fact that now you can charge more for tutoring than you could when you were working in the classroom or tutoring for a company. And so you don't need to work as many hours, right? Like in order to make that same amount, you don't have to unless you want to, and you can organize your day. What would you say? What would you guys say to someone who was like, well, can I do this as a full-time job?
I would say they need to calculate what do they need a month for income, and then calculate backwards to the hourly rate. When I did that, I needed 20 students to make as much as I did teaching.
Yeah.
So that's number one. You got to figure out. And then, okay, 20 hours versus 40 to 60 if you're a teacher. Come on. There's no comparison, right?
Right. I also feel like a lot of us are really have an eye towards, we're really entrepreneurs, and we're thinking about other income streams and other ways, but that go with our brand. So, what else can we do, whether it's blogging or creating courses or writing ebooks or, and I know that's something I definitely see for myself in the future as well, because tutor or students do come and go, and so sometimes it is possible you would have a period where you're not as booked. And so wouldn't it be great to have another income stream?
Right.
Yeah. And for sure, I've been definitely trying to do that with my blog, like monetizing and stuff. When it comes to that, I've been doing my blog for about 4 months, and it's new, but I've made about like $40 like just from like blog stream like in that time. And I mean, some of that's creating my own worksheets, some of that's affiliate marketing, and like that builds up and becomes a thing like over time. And with that also, like for someone who's thinking like, oh, I want to be online tutoring like full time, right? Another advice that I would give to them is like, yes, it is possible, but don't think that you're going to be doing that in a month. Don't think you're going to be doing that like next week. Like it takes some time at least to build up like your business and get your name out there. Maybe you start with a company to begin with to kind of get your feet wet, get the experience under you, and then you move to doing personal clients more. Because I've been doing this for like 7 years, and most of that has been with a company. And I still have clients with companies, but like within like the last year, since I had like clients with companies and since I had that experience like under me, etc., like I've been able to get personal clients and build up. And I'm probably about half right now of personal clients versus company clients. But my personal clients are doing more hours with me too. Like one of my personal clients is with me 12 hours a week. One is with me 4 hours a week. So like, they're like, but it takes time to build up. Like you're not going to be like doing this full time, like in a week. You're not going to be doing this full time, like in a month. Like it takes time to actually build a client base and an experience base to have that recognition behind you and that worth behind you to create this. So yes, it is possible to do this full time. It's possible to make this your full-time gig, but it's not like you're going to be doing it overnight.
Unless you're Terry Grigsby and you know how to get 10 students in 1 week.
Yeah.
That is called desperation to need money. And honestly, I think of this whole thing as a big experiment, because I don't know what I'm doing in an experiment. I have tried everything anyone has ever suggested about getting clients. That's on the blog, that's on our Facebook page, or in any of these calls. I have tried every single one of those. So, and some of them work and some of them don't, but I'm always thinking, where am I going to get clients? Because I have to have them. So yeah, I'm going to be proud of those 10. Okay. So there.
Totally. You should be.
Like a joke though, but seriously.
Well, and you guys, I'll put a link into the video so that you guys can see that, because it really did happen. And she does share the secret to her success of how she got those students. So it's pretty cool that, I mean, anything is absolutely possible. It does take time. For most of us, it's going to take a little bit more time. And think about it like that sowing and reaping, right? We never reap in the same season that we sow. So we are constantly planting these seeds all over the place. And this is really happening for you now, Terry Grigsby, isn't it? Because you're getting clients from all over the place, not just from one stream, right?
Yeah, I'm getting them from everywhere. I planted a seed all last year. So I was going to say off of Angela, when you don't have very many people at the beginning, that's your time to really put in your work product and get those seeds sown everywhere you can think of. Because, and some of them you think, oh, this was a waste of time. Like I thought that about a Facebook ad I put in a few months ago. And oh, no one's even responding. Well, yesterday somebody responded months and months later. So reap those, you know, put them out everywhere you can possibly think of, and then eventually things will start coming back to you.
Yeah.
Just doing it. Even today, even though I'm fully booked, I still am going to take 5 actions every day to get clients.
Yeah, because I think if you stop, because you have another goal in your head to get a cushion, right, of information. And Sonia mentions this, and this is really, really important. She says, don't forget to set aside money for your self-employment taxes, right? So we're taxed differently because we are a self-employed business. And so you need to make sure that you have enough money for your taxes. Now, the tax law is going to be changing this upcoming tax season. So I'm very interested. I'd love to invite, like, if you guys know of like a tax guy who can like tell us how like small business, let me know, because I'd love to like invite them in to say, hey, how are taxes changing? Because I've heard that it's no longer going to be that 40% of your money needs to be taxed, that it's actually going to be like closer to 2025. So so that'll be really interesting on how some of those changes happen. But the amount of stress, I feel like, because we have such flexibility is decreased compared to anything we've done before. Anybody else feeling kind of the same thing? Oh, there's like head nods everywhere.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I know when I was teaching in a classroom as a classroom teacher, it was similar to what Terry said. Like you know, I had to get there, I want to say like 7 or 7:30. It was early that I was arriving at school to do prep and stuff for the day before the students got there. And then I barely would take any kind of lunch break or sit down. I mean, like you're just working the entire time you're there. And then as soon as the students leave, you've got meetings and you're answering parent emails and you're trying to get something prepared for the next day. But inevitably, you know, then if you have children, I know for me, I left being a classroom teacher when my son was 2 because I just felt so stressed and so pulled in so many directions. I just really, you know, if he got sick, then I wanted to be home with him, taking care of him. But then I felt like I was letting down my students. But if I went into school, you know, then I felt like I was letting him down. And it was just really, there are lots of amazing, amazing teachers who are doing this with kids, but it wasn't a good fit for me and for my family. And so I know, because then I would inevitably be bringing home work and I'd be working for several hours at night. And, you know, before I had kids and I was a classroom teacher, I worked for 12, 14 hours a day, and it was fine. And I loved it. You know, that was my life, and that was great. But for me, I really I wanted to be more available, more flexible to be with my kids. And even like this coming weekend, we had some family unexpectedly, you know, I'm going to be able to see you. I want to see the kids. And so I was able to like reach out to my Saturday client and say, could we do the afternoon instead of the morning? I have family here. And so that's really nice that I can move that around and still have the income and still have the client be happy. And
yeah, it is a lot easier to move a client than it was to like get a sub and prepare plans. Like you still had to plan your entire day for the sub. So like it would take sometimes. I mean, yeah, there were some people who put in like these ridiculously like junk stuff for people to do, but I actually put like lesson plans, like here's where we're at, let's keep this ship moving, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like I had to actually write my lesson plans, and I would like send them off to a friend in an email, be like, hey, can you print these off for the sub or whatever. And then if an emergency happened, I had, you know, the junk lesson that wasn't really going to move things forward, but really just keep the peace in the classroom. And today, I don't have to worry about any of that. It's like you message somebody, as long as you're flexible with them when they need changes, they're going to be flexible with you.
Yeah.
They understand your mom, their mom. I mean, it's really really awesome. And Terry, you just had a situation happen too where you needed some flexibility. And how did that work out with your clients?
So because I have them pay monthly automatically, they get 4 sessions a month, and so I contacted all of them, and I do have a good relationship with all my parents, and they were like totally wonderful to me about it. They're like, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. And then so if it's something they need to make up, like I had to miss a Saturday one, I talked to that person last night, and he's getting ready for a test, so we'll make it up this weekend right before the test. So that was fine. And then another parent said, no, I know you put in time to get ready for all this, so don't worry about it. So it was wonderful. Everybody was really nice.
Yeah.
That was really de-stressing for me because I stress out a lot about that.
And you didn't have to worry about losing any clients, did you?
No, and I had to be out of town for 4 days. So, so people understand.
Yeah, things happen in life, and if you just give them that level of flexibility that they need when emergencies happen, it's going to be really, really good.
And the other thing I'll say to that really fast is that if I had somebody that I couldn't schedule, I would have refunded them that hour, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
It turned out I didn't have to do that, but I was ready to do that. So.
Yeah, because that's the right thing to do, right? And it's all about the ethics, and it's all about the relationship. The relationship is more important at the end of the day than that dollar amount for that session. And if that's what they want as a refund, no problem, no questions asked. Here it is, right? Yeah. I'd rather keep a client happy than to start an argument over something petty like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm kind of different in that I've literally only tutored. Like I've never been in a classroom. Like I've been tutoring since I was 19. And so this last year, like I'd been wanting to be in the classroom. I've been wanting to like be a teacher, but I applied for like 30, 40 teaching jobs and like no one would accept me as a teacher. So then I was like, okay, guess I'm just going to continue tutoring. And like, this will just be a thing now. Like I am a freelance tutor. That is my like title, like kind of a thing. And then like, I branded it with like the Truthful Tutor and like, it made it a thing. But yeah, like I don't have an experience outside of tutoring and like, and in terms of like, say someone's like going through school, like tutoring was amazing when I was in college, when I was in my master's program, like the flexibility that we're talking about. Like, so if there's young people out there who are like, I want to like tutor to like get through like school or like pay like my way through school so I don't have to have as much student loans, etc. I still have a lot of student loans. Okay, but like there was some of my friends who literally took out loans for like everything, like their rent, their food, like everything. And I only took out loans like for tuition. Like that was it. So like I paid everything else through tutoring. And the flexibility of being able to like go to class in the morning, do tutoring in the afternoon, the flexibility of that was amazing when I was going through school. Like in undergrad, I got a job through my school tutoring. So I tutored like through my school. I was a writing tutor for like college freshmen who didn't pass English placement exams and they had to meet with me for like writing help every single week. So I did that. And then when I moved to do my master's program, like I got a job with being a tutor within a week. And I'm still with that company a little bit. So I've been with them for like 4 years. Great guy, great company. I love them. So like, yeah, like it like helped me through school. So if there's any like young tutors out there that are like wanting, like, can I do this as a college student? You can totally do this as a college student. We need smart college students who can teach kids and teach high schoolers well, and stuff like that. So the flexibility there was great. But yeah, this is all I've ever done. I haven't really done anything else. I had like small like starter jobs like before this. Like I worked in a cafeteria, but I've pretty much been tutoring for like the last like 7 years, and that's all I've done.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I have to say, like, I'm going to add to that. This is the only thing I ever want to do forever. Like, and I don't have to. We have lots of people too. Like, so we got the younger people who, they can do tutoring to be able to take on less debt. But then on the other side of it, we have a lot of teachers who are retiring as well, that they still want to teach, but they don't want to drive all over the place. And so, your age doesn't have to determine whether you can tutor or not. If you feel like you can tutor, there should be nothing stopping you, right?
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And Terry, you've reached retirement age now, right?
Oh my God, that hurt.
Oh, but you're close. You said you're a retired teacher.
The old lady. Oh my God, I'm depressed. Okay.
Oh no. I
was actually on the other side of Angela. I was coming from a community college teaching job, trying to get back into high school teaching, and no one would hire me either, Angela.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know why, but it was a godsend, because then I came to this, and it's so much easier, and it's really, really rewarding as you get kids through stuff. So don't be ashamed that you're a tutor, Angela. That's a great thing. You have 7 years experience. You have more experience than I do. Think of it that way. That's awesome.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
I guess technically I could be retired.
You never have to retire if you don't want to. And isn't that awesome?
I'm not like
We've all witnessed a Joanne takes foot and sticks it in her mouth moment.
For the record, I'm not 65, okay, kids? I'm not even close.
People can retire at 56, can't they? She's like, I'm not even 56, lady.
Age. Fine, go ahead. Yeah. Can you speak up? I can't hear you.
Well, Sonia said retirement age. She's too young for that.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
See?
Moving on. I'll be over it. Right now, I'm scratching out the 9:30 to 10:30 meetings as we talk. And I'm just
so watch Terry's business go downhill. No, just kidding.
I'm kidding. But it did hurt.
We all have fun. We all have fun together as a community, and we do joke a lot, and we do have a lot of fun. It's really cool being able to get to know people from all over the world, and that's what we really have inside of our group. And each month we actually have, not only do we have like these weekly calls, like you were talking about, at they're 11:30 my time Central, but they're 9:30 her time because she's over there on the West Coast. But we do like group coaching, we do question answer calls, we even have like a monthly conference, and we have a monthly conference coming up October 29th to the 31st. And I'm going to put a link inside of the description notes, but that conference is all about how to turn your stories into students. So how cool would it be to be able to take stories from your life, and all of a sudden you get a phone call because there's somebody out there on the other side of the world who heard that story and was like, you're the tutor for my child because you've had a similar experience. How cool would that be? Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. And guess what, you guys? You know that I don't charge a lot for these conferences. It's only $1 for people to join. They can come on in and they can see what it's like to be a part of our community and not really have to, invest a ton of money in order to do that. So it's a lot of fun to be able to support everybody in this community. Any final words you guys would like to give to people that are just getting started with their tutoring business?
I think I just have to agree with sort of what Angela was saying about, coming into it knowing that like it really is a journey, and like you have to be really ready to learn new things, whether it's, so like Terry, I'm really only interested in online students. And so all of my focus is in learning how to do that really well. So, and any professional development I'm doing is focused on the technology, or it's focused on, learning from other people who are doing it. So definitely, I'm really glad that I found this community, like as in someone who's starting this business and coming into this whole like career. I mean, it's a similar career, but it's a career change. Like it is different than teaching in a classroom, and you are having your own business. Like I didn't go to school for business. I went to school to be a teacher. So it's really important to me to learn from people who are doing this successfully. And So my advice, I mean, you know, I would definitely be to buddy up with somebody else and get into this community. You won't be sorry. Find someone you can talk to. And, you know, I know I didn't mention that in my typical day, but I have my accountability partner, Victoria, that I talk to probably every day. We have a set time that we talk for business stuff each week, and we're doing our live calls now, which is great. But we also like communicate throughout the week about all kinds of things. And, even because it can be kind of isolating because you're working for yourself in your home. And, you know, so I think if I were going to give one piece of advice, find some people, find some other people to build a community so that you don't feel alone and you have other people that you can reach out to. And you can always log into our group, and, you know, Terry posted her win and I've posted successes that I've had. And that always really helps me. Because it is a roller coaster being an entrepreneur. You know, there are a lot of ups and downs. So you have to be ready to like put in the footwork and say, you know, see that mountain? You'll either see me at the top waving or dead on the side. That's what I always say. Because I hear it's like
get on the side because the rest of the community is going to lift you up.
As I say, I am not coming back. Like, this is it.
And so we have two communities that you've heard about. We've got the Ultimate Support Group for Online Tutors, and Angela is a part of that. Also, Terry and Ashley are part of that as well, and Sonia and Dana. Everybody's a part of that Ultimate Support Group. And then we have a smaller community called the Insider Secrets Club, both communities. So if you haven't found us on Facebook yet, it's a free group. Come join us on over there. You'll be able to ask any questions that you have about online tutoring. And it's just called the Ultimate Support Group for Online Tutors. And if you're wondering how to be able to get new students for your online tutoring, then join us. Click that button for join the free webinar where you can learn 3 secrets to getting online tutoring students that will seriously open your mind up to a whole new world and a whole new way to be able to get clients. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. You guys are awesome. I can't wait for next live. It's always incredible, but it's more incredible when you guys join me because you guys are way more interesting, I feel. So thanks so much. And we'll see everybody on the next live. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.